I'm honored to be joined by United States Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia. Senator Manchin was sworn into the United States Senate in 2010 to fill the seat left vacant by the late Robert Byrd. Prior to his election to the Senate, Senator Manchin served in the West Virginia House of Delegates, the West Virginia Senate, and he also served as Secretary of State and, of course, Governor. Throughout his public service, Senator Manchin has been committed to working with Republicans and Democrats to find common sense solutions to the problems our country faces. The senator is currently the chairman of the Senate Committee on Energy and Natural Resources, and he serves on the Committee on Appropriations, the Committee on Armed Services, and the Committee on Veterans Affairs. Senator Manchin, welcome. We're eager to hear your thoughts on energy policy and our energy future.
Well, Dave, hello, and thank you. And thanks to the Marcellus Shale Coalition for having me here today. As a West Virginian and chairman of the Senate Energy Committee, I know the amount of work that it takes to produce and deliver the affordable, reliable, and dependable energy that powers our nation. So thank you, and thank all of you for all of your efforts. I'm a strong supporter of all of the above energy policy and a firm believer that we've got to focus on innovation rather than elimination to use our bountiful resources in the cleanest way possible. Energy innovation was at the core of the Energy Act of 2020, a comprehensive, all of the above energy package that we finally got enacted in December. It was the first update to our national energy policy in over 13 years, and we managed to get it done through strong bipartisan collaboration. Not only did I work closely with my good friend, former chairman at that time, Lisa Murkowski, and our members of the committee, but also with our colleagues on both sides of the aisle in the House to get this bill over the finish line. The bill contained provisions sponsored or co-sponsored by almost 70 senators. What a true testament to bipartisan nature of innovation. It invested billions of dollars in advancing critical energy technologies and included My Effect Act, which authorized over $6 billion for carbon capture, utilization, and sequestration. This included robust authorization for demonstration projects on natural gas generation plants. Getting those important provisions in the energy bill implemented and funded is one of my top priorities this Congress, and I intend to work closely with Secretary Granholm to ensure these projects get deployed. The natural gas industry knows firsthand the opportunities that exist when innovation is put to work. It is through innovation that the Marcellus Shale region became an energy and economic powerhouse for Appalachia and our entire country. Advancements in technologies that were developed in partnership with NETL, like hydraulic fracturing, horizontal drilling, have allowed us to more efficiently and responsibly tap into the natural gas deposits found in shale plays across the country. These technologies catalyzed a shale revolution that propelled a surge in domestic gas production. In 2019, the Appalachian Basin produced an estimated 11.5 trillion cubic feet of natural gas, helping America become a net energy exporter for the first time in 67 years. This enhanced our energy security while providing a significant boost to our U.S. and regional economies. But there is so much more room to do even more. The Appalachian Basin alone contains an estimated 214 trillion cubic feet of undiscovered, technically unrecoverable natural gas. It's the same vein of innovation that we must also continue to develop the technologies and infrastructure like pipeline needed to identify, reduce, and ultimately eliminate leaks and flaring of the valuable resource and get it to market. These vast reserves can continue revitalizing our economy and securing our nation energy security while supporting thousands of jobs and a transition to a lower carbon future. Natural gas also has a role in the fuels of the future. Methane found in natural gas can be used to create hydrogen. When combined with CCUS, hydrogen production from natural gas can be environmentally friendly and create a product that can significantly decarbonize our energy systems, our transportation sector, and industrial processes. And captured carbon dioxide is also increasingly being used as a feedstock to make things like plastics and concrete, and to make chemicals that go into our cleaning products and pharmaceuticals, turning methane and CO2 into valuable commodities is an example of putting innovation to work. Maturing the markets for products made from these commodities will ensure they are captured and be put to good use while reducing emission. Now that's a win-win. You can expect to see CCUS in advancing the responsible production and use of fossil fuel derived hydrogen will be priorities of mine as chairman. I'd like to end on a note about growth in Appalachia. Many opportunities exist to expand the use of natural gas found in our backyard and spur manufacturing renaissance in the region. Raw and refined natural gas and natural gas liquids serve as feedstock for the chemical, plastic, and synthetic materials that are in nearly everything that we use. However, our exports of ethane to China have significantly increased. In 2019, they accounted for nearly 30% of the increase in total exports that we realized that year. This puts us at a distinct disadvantage by exporting large quantities of our natural gas liquids and the manufacturing jobs that go along with them to China, to then simply import finished products back to us. I'm a firm believer that we can and should bring those supply chains and manufacturing back home and expand the domestic jobs supported by our abundant natural gas. The Appalachian Storage Hub, which I have continued to advocate for, can advance a manufacturing and a petrochemical industry around our abundant ethane, propane, and butane, and would have a huge impact on job creation and economic development. So I will continue working with the administration to make sure they understand the positive impact an Appalachian Storage Hub will have on West Virginia, the region, and our country. We certainly have lots to tackle this Congress, and we will have our work cut out for us every day. But the Energy Committee has proven itself to be the most productive committee in the Senate, and that's because we have an unparalleled commitment to bipartisanship. So I look forward to continue that tradition with my new partner, Ranking Member John Barrasso. I also look forward to working with President Biden and with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to advance an agenda that invests in innovation and the infrastructure we need to ensure affordable, reliable energy in the cleanest way possible, now and for the future. So, Dave, thank you again for inviting me to be here with you.
Thank you, Senator, and thanks for entertaining a couple of questions. As chairman of the Senate Committee on Energy and Natural Resources, what tools do you have at your disposal to address Biden administration rulemakings that may unfairly penalize some forms of energy compared to others?
Well, the rulemaking, basically, you're talking about rulemaking after we pass legislation?
Correct.
Yeah, we'll have input on that. We can recall back to if it basically goes off. So we're going to have dialogue all the way up until the final product comes to market. So I don't anticipate a problem there, Dave, but we're going to be very vigilant on watching what comes out, because a lot of times in legislation, you have the best of intent. The rulemaking process changes the whole intent of the legislation, which can really affect in a negative way. So I'm very cognizant of that.
Thank you. I know you talked about liquids in Appalachia. What's the latest and what's going on in terms of the storage of liquids in Appalachia?
Right now, it's kind of been on a hiatus as far as the storage hub, and that needs to happen. With that, when Rick Perry was there, Rick and I had a good relationship. We were governors together. And Rick says, Joe, he says, I've seen the model of a Class 5 hurricane coming up the Houston Channel. It cripples our nation energy-wise. So why not have a natural backup for the energy hub that the Southwest has been? And with that being said, we're right in the midst of it. West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, parts of Kentucky. We could be a natural backup energy hub for the whole country with what we have and all the energy we have under ourselves there. So we're working on that, and I've talked to Jennifer Granholm about that. This is something that needs to be done. Plus, with the chemical valley we have going up the Ohio and along the Kanawha River, it's a natural renaissance that could happen again. So we're working on all that, Dave, to bring it back to life.
Thank you. Generally speaking, how can Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia work together to both advance and defend our native energy industries?
Well, I think we're all in it from the standpoint they understand, for us to become energy independent, if it hadn't been for the discoveries of fracking and the gas that was released, we would still be dependent in so many different arenas and areas for other countries as far as our energy needs. And that's something we're not going to go back to. Everybody that comes before my committee, the first question I ask, Dave, do you believe the United States should be energy independent? And that's the first question, because that tells me truly what I'm dealing with. If a person has no regard for our energy reliability and being independent, then it's going to be a pretty long hearing, if you will. It doesn't go real well.
Yeah. I know you mentioned Nettle in your remarks.
Yeah.
What future role do you see for Nettle in shaping the energy future for not just Appalachia, but for the country?
Yeah, well, they've been at the forefront on so many innovative technologies that have come to play. Nettle being in Morgantown, which I'm very, and also in Pittsburgh, which I'm very much in tune with. We look for them to be really a leader, Dave, if you will, in where we go and how we take carbon capture sequestration to that next level, and working in a public-private partnership with a lot of companies that want to basically find how we can take clearstream carbon, turn it into a solid product that can have a valued stream to it, if you will, a valued waste stream, something that now is extremely costly for us. And they have not been able, to date, as I know of, been able to use carbon capture and sequestration to enhance natural gas or the liquid production from natural gas. With oil, it's been quite successful in areas of the country, but in the gas fields, we haven't seen that productivity. You might know something different than I have. I'm talking to Brian Anderson, Dr. Brian Anderson at Nettle, and we're working every way we possibly can to enhance that, because that helps us tremendously. Then we can do something. Right now, it makes it very, very costly for us with carbon capture.
Senator, how can our industry, the natural gas industry, help you with your efforts to educate and inform both your colleagues and the general public with fact-based information on energy and environmental matters?
Dave, I believe really the greatest thing can be done is all the technology and the safety factors you are using, and basically capturing methanes. This has been something they've been the environmental community has been very dogmatic on. And they have a right to be, because it is very damaging, and it's a valued product that we shouldn't be flared out. It shouldn't be bended, and we shouldn't have leaks. And we should be able to do a better job with our pipelines and everything else, showing what we've been able to do with the new technologies that we're able to monitor and prevent any catastrophic types of failures that's going to cause an environmental calamity, if you will. So I think the more facts that the people have of what's actually happening with horizontal drilling, basically fracking, and the safety of it. I mean, they just believe that, I guess, that for some reason they felt it was unsafe, or it impregnated water tables and basically caused so many environmental problems. And if it's done and done properly, which we have been practicing, we've not seen that whatsoever. And it's just, the return as far as the amount of natural stock feed that we've been able to produce has been unbelievable for our country and for the economic well-being of our country. So I tell people, you're entitled to your opinion. You're just not entitled to produce your own facts to support your opinion. So the facts that we can put out, David, that are basically documented, helps tremendously for us to be able to educate people on what we're doing, how much better we're doing it, and how much better we can do it, all of us working together. A lot of it on BLM lands is where we're having a lot of concerns. And so I, as a chairman right now, we've taken on a program trying to get some permitting for pipelines to take off the methane from the BLM lands, because they've been venting so much of it. And we want to make sure that product will go to market. And the reason it couldn't go to market, we didn't have the pipelines to take it to market. Couldn't get permits for them. So if you want to shut down an industry, blame the reason you're shutting it down, but don't give the reason that you could fix the problem. And we're not going to let that happen.
Thanks for that great, insightful answer. I know you mentioned pipeline and infrastructure a couple of times in your remarks, but how do we ensure that much needed infrastructure projects like Mountain Valley Pipeline or Penn East Pipeline in the eastern part of Pennsylvania, and many others aren't derailed by state action, never-ending legal challenges, or even unreasonable federal requirements?
Well, I think the best thing to do is tell them that product's going to go to market one way or another. If you take the product to market by, I can give you oil out of, let's use the Keystone XL pipeline. That product's coming to market. So if it comes by road, for every 55 million barrels of oil that we transport, we're probably going to have an accident. For every 50 million barrels by train or by rail, we have an accident. We're well over 720 million barrels. 720 before we ever seen any type of a leak or an accident. So you tell me which one's the safest, which one's the best way, which one has the lowest carbon footprint, which one by far is the most rational, economical, and reasonable way for us to transport in the safest domain. And that's all we're talking about. So basically it's the facts again, David. The more facts we can put out and showing people we have these to back, and we have the statistics to back these up. And I don't make any unabashed reasons why I wouldn't support something that makes so much common sense and is really an asset for how we transport the energy that we need in this country.
Senator, as you well know, the construction trades have played a very, very important role in building out large portions of our industry and its infrastructure. What role do you think they can play or continue to play in defending our regional energy resources and helping shape our energy future from an advocacy standpoint?
Well, first of all, if you're going to bring manufacturing jobs back, you need energy. How can we talk about bringing these jobs back to America, not having the energies to run the factories that produce the products the manufacturing would be coming back? That's the first. And basically, it's just an unbelievable. The building trades and the people that work in that building trades are all good paying jobs. They're very good paying, mostly union jobs, but good paying jobs with benefits. So it's not a better investment that we make than the energy that we have to produce to propel the renaissance of manufacturing in the United States of America. So this is what we're talking about, and this is what we're working for, and what we keep hoping for. And we can't do it, and we sure as heck can't do it if we're going to be dependent on foreign actors, if you will, for the energy that we need to run our own country, let alone defend our country. So that's why we're such a hawk on this, and we want to make sure that we're going to basically be there not only to defend, we should be promoting it. Sometimes we go out, David, thinking we have to defend the energy that we've been able, through innovation and new technologies, produce for our country and to benefit the people of our nation. And what we should be doing is promoting what all we've done and how much more we can do if we work together, rather than trying to have to defend what we're doing.
Thank you, Senator. Let me just say in closing, thank you very, very much for taking the time to be with the members of the Marcellus Shale Coalition today. Your thoughts are insightful. We're encouraged by everything that you've said, and we look forward to working with you in any and every way possible to advance and defend our common energy interests. Yeah. Senator, thank you very much.
Well, thanks for having me, David, and to all of you in the industry. Thank you for the job you do, a job well done. You've been able to not only keep the lights on, but keep the factories running. You're basically changing the landscape of America as we know it today. It's dependable, reliable, and affordable, and that's what the American people want.
Thank you. Thanks again.
You.